yesterday to make it to the Final Four. She did a GOAT-like thing, LeSean, Shady McCoy. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. What did Caitlin Clark prove to you?
Nothing. I told you, she is the GOAT. Well, she proved one thing to me, though, that all the college stars that we know about, to me, she's the best one, right? And she ain't won a ring yet. This is the reason why. You said something about Syracuse.
Yes, sir.
They had a short white point guard.
McNamara.
Right? McNamara is his name, right? And he's a Pennsylvania dude. I'm Pennsylvania. And we heard about him in high school. He's a little older than me, so I want to go check him out. I'm like, man, listen, man. Y'all not going to convince me that some little white dude was going to beat all us brothers. And he did. When I watched last night, Caitlin Curry Clark. I got to get it right. That's what she is. Beating all them girls from LSU, that showed me something, though, right? I think the respect part of it is like, yeah, she's a hell of a player, cool. But when I watched her beat all our sisters, just like that, her versus them five, that's what it really was. Either she scored the points or she was assisting the points. It's coming through her. Yeah. By herself. I say this girl is special. When you talk about getting respect, that's respect. Any hood you grew up in, you see that, right? White dude come up there, he beat all the brothers in the hood. Yeah, he got respect. That's what she is. When I look at all the other superstars that played in college level, right? You talked about Brianna Stewart, who's a hell of a player, right? Phenomenal. Championship on championships. But she did play at UConn.
Yep.
And what does UConn do? They get all the best players.
They do.
All the top recruits.
True.
They always want to winning system, right? Like Alabama in football. Who going to Iowa, though? Who going to Iowa? You see her teammates? And no disrespect to her teammates. Regular, though. Hard workers.
Regular.
Hard workers.
Blue collar.
Nothing special. That girl last night, Caitlin, is special. And we need to put her name with all the other greats. And I'm going to say it right now without no championships. Joey, tell her you might not like it. She is the greatest.
The greatest.
Yeah, yeah. You know why? This is the reason why, though. First of all, I got 2 reasons why.
Talk to me.
3 reasons why. She gonna beat everybody, no matter who it is. Tall, big, better than me. I'm talking team-wise. Okay. LSU. I watched her beat South Carolina last year.
Yep.
Another thing is, when I look at the talent level, though, like, I haven't seen nobody play like this since Steph Curry. Have you? Let alone a female?
Hold on, can I ask you something real quick?
Oh, the girl different.
Going?
What's up?
With no championships, you saying she's the greatest?
Yeah, man. You know why?
Why?
Because we can look at it differently, right? You may look at, okay, well, if a girl has so much accolades, she has those different rings and the championships, she got to be the greatest, right? Because she got stats and she got rings. But when I look at UConn, that's what they do. All the generation, they all win. They all have great players. All-Americans, get all the top recruits. When you go to Iowa with regular girls and you are carrying them against a team like LSU, a team like South Carolina, who's bigger, who's faster, who's stronger, you get more credit than that, and that's for me. Okay. So I'm rolling with Caitlin Curry Clark as the best basketball player we've ever seen in female sports.
What
Let's get it.
did she prove, Joy Taylor? Because so much was proven in yesterday's phenomenal performance.
I think she proved she can carry the team. Now, I don't want to diminish the performances the rest of the team had because Iowa played tremendous. Now, I agree with you. The talent level is not the same. The size level, the physicality is not the same between Iowa and LSU, but they played great. And the reason that they played great is because she put them in great positions. Her passing was incredible, leading them down the court, half-court passes, forget the shots that she was making, the presence that she had in the paint. She was special last night. She was... I don't want to get crazy. She was special last night.
Get crazy.
Get crazy. I'm going to push him down. I'm going to push him down until the next round. She was tremendous. I love that she avenged the championship game last year. I love that they avenged the championship game last year. I mean, we're going to talk about LSU in a minute. They did not play their best game. They did not look like the team that we expected them to look, which is a little unfortunate because I feel like it would have been more of a battle towards the end of the game, although they did drag those last couple seconds out. She was incredible. She made everybody better. And when we talk about all-time great players, that's always something we use to describe them. They make their teammates better, whether they're playing with great players, whether they're playing with average players, even when they're playing with bad players, they bring everyone up a level that they wouldn't be playing at if that person wasn't on the court. And that's what I saw from her last night.
Yeah, I'm with Shady on she did not prove anything. I'm not with him on the greatest, but she did not, she did not prove anything. It's sisters all over college basketball. Caitlin Clark been getting buckets like this and dropping assists like this all year long. She's third in NCAA basketball history in assists or something like that, dropping dimes. She's #1 in points. She's been delivering like this all season long. So It's no surprise to me that she came out there and knocked down some threes, that she came out there and made her teammates better. This is what she does. That's why she's on all these commercials. That's why everybody's tuning in to watch her. They know she is going to deliver. She delivered last year, right? So nothing surprised me. Nobody in college basketball, I don't care what team you go to, can guard her, especially one-on-one. She is going to get a bucket. If she doesn't get a bucket, she's going to make her teammates better. That's what she showed us all year long. So when you ask me what does she prove, it's absolutely nothing. I don't care who was on the basketball court. The girl can play. People got way more talent than Steph Curry. Steph Curry come running off these screens and getting buckets and all. That's what he. So when you talk about her, something to prove or what did she prove? Absolutely nothing. The girl's a walking bucket. She's a superstar basketball player. We tune in to watch her for a reason. And last night, all eyeballs was on her, and she went to work.
But don't you think the opponent mattered? The reason I'm not surprised, but I am to some degree surprised, is if you would have said Caitlin gonna drop 41 against Kim Mulkey, one of the greatest women's coaches of the generation, if you're gonna say she's gonna drop 41 with Flaugier on the court, with Van Lathan on the court, with Angel Reese on the court, I would have been like, nah, I don't see it. I mean, because last year she did play well, but she had 30 and 8.
But as you sit here today, are you surprised?
I'm not surprised, but I am like, that shouldn't have happened. I would say this, I'm not surprised, but I am surprised how she controlled the game. Like, they was winning at halftime. I'm like, okay, all right, cool, right? I see a team that has way more talent, right? They throwing the ball on the post, they get easy buckets. When I see Caitlin kind of making hard shots, at third quarter he rolled off, so yo, she's controlling the game. And I was surprised to see that how she dominated them girls from LSU, because LSU, easily a better team, better team.
I agree.
And she dominated them girls.
She did.
And early on, we did see her struggle. Like early on, that's when I was like, oh, this might go the way Shady thought it was gonna go, right? LSU has such a better team. I was like, early on, I was like, you know what? This ain't gonna go Caitlin Clark's way. Kudos to her. But here is the conversation, America.
I can't wait.
That I will preemptively, not apologize for.
Pop it off, Hacho.
But I will preemptively let you all know to turn your volumes up, get comfortable in your seats, because we're about to go there. I felt some type of way about that. I felt some type of way. And here's what I am about to do. I'm about to give a gender-neutral, racially indifferent take. Now, if you want to say, well, Hacho, cater your take based upon gender, Hacho, cater your take based upon race, I will understand that. But I'm about to give a gender-neutral, racially indifferent take. Angel Reese, you can't beat a big bad wolf, but then kind of cry like Courage the Cowardly Dog. Because if you want to act grown, which she has, if you want to get paid like you grown, which you are, if you want to talk to grown folks like you grown, which you did post-game when you told a coach for an opposing team, watch your mouth. If you want to tell people get your money up, then post-game when you take an L, you just got to take it on the chin. Nobody mourns when the villain catches an L. And Angel Reese, you have self-proclaimed to be the villain. Shout out to you, because you were the second best basketball player on the court, and it was not close. Outside of Caitlin Clark, it was you. 17 and 20, dog. Showed up, biggest game, second biggest game of your career. Absolute dog, but you can't, under any circumstance, go to the podium and now try to ask for individuals to give you sympathy. No one has sympathy for the villain. You painted the bullseye on your back. Why are you surprised when people shoot at you? So if you want to act grown, if you want to pose grown, if you want to talk grown, if you want to talk to grown folks grown, then you got to take the L like you grown. Because what frustrated me is when you want to be the villain, but you want to hope for sympathy like a hero. No villains in any sports get that kind of sympathy. Whether it was Richard Sherman in his prime, whether it was Baker Mayfield in college, whether it was Steve Smith, whether it was Aqib Talib, whether it's Draymond Green, if you want to be the villain, you're going to have to take it like a villain. So the only thing I didn't like, because Angel Reese's performance, it was phenomenal. But post-game, when you go to the podium and now you want sympathy, where was sympathy for all of those who you exposed your villainness towards? I don't know. That's where I was at, Shady.
No, listen, I agree with you. Now, she is young. She's a young girl, and she's growing to her adult age, so I get that. But this is a lesson, though, because you can't beat on your chest, you the villain, you the big bag wolf, right, like you've been doing. I watched games you played last year and this year. You taunting the fans. You girls get fouled out. You waving them by, right? You accepting that role, and I love that. I was like, yeah, listen, you holding it down. I like that. But then when you lose, you act like that. The tears? Give me a tissue. No. it's a thing they call 10 toes down. If you gonna act a certain way and you gonna talk out and you gonna be big and bad, right? And you gonna have a voice of your own and you don't care who you offend or what you say, that's what it is. It gotta be the same way when you lose. I couldn't believe she had the interview. Yeah. I couldn't believe she was saying that. Because I watched her taunt these girls. I watched her with Caitlyn, all this, right? Made it a big deal. Big deal. Well, she could do it, why can't I do it? It was like, okay, cool, right. Right, you talk about how everybody, you're not scaring nobody in the press conference. You talk about how LSU, y'all the dogs. Everybody don't like y'all. Y'all the victims, right? Or not the victims, the villains. And then you cry like that. I didn't like that, though, because everybody I know that plays that victim role, they stand on it. Yeah. It is what it is. We might not like Dylan Brooks, right?
But he gonna stand on it.
But he stand, Draymond Green, he do a lot of stuff that I don't even agree with. But one thing about him, yeah, I did it. This is me. That crowd was crazy. Like, come on.
Joy.
And now wait for this.
I'll say this. I really enjoy villains. Mm-hmm. I like villains. Mm-hmm. I like villains more than most. But why is she a villain? Because of what she does on the court?
She said she was.
Who made her the villain?
She said she was the villain.
Self-proclaimed.
Who made her the villain? Because someone made her the villain, and it wasn't her. She was being herself and bragging the same way that all athletes brag when they win, when they hit a big shot, when they do this. I've seen it a million times. Yeah. But we don't talk about them the way that we talk about Angel Reese. So it's very easy to say that we're just going to eliminate the fact that she is a young girl and eliminate the fact that she is a black girl and eliminate the fact that she's an unapologetic black girl. We can take all that out. I love playing the we don't see color game. We don't see gender game. Let's do that. Do we talk about men who brag after winning or hitting a big shot the way that we talk about Angel Reese? I'll clear it up for you. We don't. We don't do segments about that because it's very common. We're used to seeing it. It's absorbed differently. There's an expectation of how Angel Reese is supposed to act. The reason we know that is because of the reaction that we got from her. And when she did that to Caitlin Clark last year, people didn't like it. Men do that all the time. Joe Burrow, we could pull up so many clips of men doing this and this and this and this.
What about the more taunting to other players, though?
All men do this. All these players do it. We don't have enough time to do these segments. We will be here for the rest of our lives.
We got a long A block because we don't
have enough time to pull up all the clips of all the men.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it. So everybody, you are right. Everybody showboats and all that, right?
Oh.
But there's certain type of players, right, that get a different rap, like a Dylan Brooks, because he does extra stuff. A dude like Draymond Green, he does extra stuff.
What does Draymond do that's extra?
Richard Sherman, huh?
What do they do that's extra?
Taunting, being the bullies.
Green before the game, staring at you, just doing that, getting
just like all the antics you doing. Like, everybody don't do that. Like, the Dame thing, that's cool, but he ain't losing and saying this and saying that and making it a big deal. Everybody don't do that. She does, and I'm not mad that she does that. I'm with that. Like, yo, if I play basketball, I would be that type of guy. On your face, talking trash, you lose, but I would do that. But my thing is, once I lose, I can't go do the victim and crying and all that.
I will say this. We ask for a lot of authenticity from players. Mm-hmm. We ask for the real. We ask for emotions. We ask for interviews. We ask for not the cans. Yeah, congrats to Caitlin Clark in Iowa. I'm going to make my decision next year. Appreciate you all coming out. We just didn't play our best today. We could have been better. We didn't play our best today. We could have on to Cincinnati, right? We don't like that, right? We want the real. We want the interviews. We want the authenticity. We want the emotion. But then when we get that, don't do that. Don't do that. Be the person that we've put you up here to be. Be the person that someone else said you were because you gloated, because you did something that men do all the time. What I'm trying to say is she didn't make herself the villain. She showed up unapologetically herself in the same way that men do all the time.
But that's everybody,
every Tuesday night in January. No, they don't. They don't get the same thing.
I would say this, though.
They don't get the same thing, and that's why she's in this position.
But we don't have issue with that. I don't.
What?
Shady doesn't.
I don't either.
I don't have issue with her doing what all the men do all the time. No issue at all. Showing up unapologetically her.
But the reason this game is billed the way that it was, the reason that we talk about Angel Reese the way that we do is because of the reaction to what happened in last year's national championship game. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Why did that reaction happen? So what I'm saying is we all love villains, but sometimes, especially young people, don't realize what comes with being the villain.
That part.
And that is the part. That is a real thing. And so to say that we do this all equally, we don't. What Angel Reese experiences is not the same thing as what everyone is experiencing.
For better and for worse. That's my thing.
What her experience is, what she's talking about, right, is not the same experience that everyone has. Everyone has what happened to her.
We don't know.
No,
They don't.
But name me some athletes that are not outspoken that people don't make them the
She
victim.
is talking about her experience.
But what I'm
she
saying
has
is,
experienced since that game.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Is what was put onto her because she's an unapologetic Black female athlete, and she stepped into that not knowing everything that comes with it.
So let's just talk about that, what you just said, right?
Okay.
Unapologetic and a voice and all that. Most athletes like that, most people don't like. They make them the victim.
Yeah.
Like Muhammad Ali, right? Like Floyd Mayweather. All these, they don't like them though, right? But they're not singing the sad story when they don't go well. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying, stand on it. Yeah, listen, I'm everything you just said. I do everything you just talked about, cool. But then when things don't go right and you're not winning and you're not smiling, you're not putting your hand, take the good with the bad, take the bad with the good. That's all I'm saying.
So she should not talk about her experience then.
No, I'm not.
That's what we want. Because what she's talking about is her genuine experience.
James.
So first off, right, let's just go back, right? Because even when she did this, it was people.
No, Caitlin did that.
Yes,
She did this.
to a whole other
Caitlin
team.
was doing this.
But Angel Reese did that when they beat him, though.
Yes.
Angel Reese did that to Caitlin.
To Caitlin because Caitlin was
Absolutely. So when she did that, we had a whole conversation of, man, she shouldn't be doing that. And then we had the whole conversation of, if a man did that, it would. So for me, number one, when you did that, you brought all this attention to yourself, which is cool. Angel Reese has been a blessing to girls basketball. People tune in to girls basketball to watch her. And she's brought a lot of eyes to women's basketball. Number one, by the way she plays, but number two, by the way she's been acting.
More of that.
And when you act like that, number one, people want to see you lose.
True.
Correct.
When you act like that, it's some people that want to see you win, but most of the people want to see you lose. I think about the Floyd Mayweathers. You were going to pay for his fight, but 90% of the people were paying for the fight to see him lose. Because the way he talked in interviews, because the way he showboated in the ring, all of that. People wanted to see Floyd lose. So for me, Angel Reese has done so much for the game of basketball. But you have brought a lot of attention on yourself. After this game, if they would have won, she would not have came out and been crying at the podium like this. So for me, I feel like, what you feeling? I don't care about you sharing it with the public. I just think this wasn't the right time because you've been such the villain. You can't jump up there right after the game and do this. Now, if you would have waited a couple weeks or whatever, or did that with your teammates, your coach or whatever, that's all good. But you cannot be the super villain, like they are saying, giving people L's, waving people bye-bye, because you have brought that. You said in your own interviews, we dogs over here, this is how we do it in LSU. They do it in TikToks, they do it in all that, and I'm for it. But you gotta be able to accept the criticism that comes with it, especially after you lose a game.
I think all the attention that she's really getting is from the things that she's doing outside of basketball.
She's a baller, though.
I mean, I hear you, right? But if I talked about Caitlin or I talked about Juju, their games is on another level where they gonna do their own talking. So they got the same attention from their game compared to Angel Reese. More of hers is just the stuff that she's doing. Because I think she's a good player. I don't think she's nothing special like them other girls. Can we all agree on that?
She ain't Juju or Caitlin.
Ain't even close. But what I'm saying, but she got the same amount of height. Then why you think that is?
Maybe more.
You get what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying about her. And I will say this, though. So I don't know if we got another block or not, but can we go to that coach, the head coach? Or are we waiting to that?
Wait, we'll get there.
Okay,
we'll get there. I do think there's a lot to consider. There's a lot to consider because there is a racial component, there's a gender component, there's an age component. I think that Angel has to deal with things that other people that don't look like her, aren't the same gender as her, and aren't the same age as her have to deal with. My only point of tension really lies with, like, you have to take the good with the bad. I think criticism is the cost of praise. And if you are going to get $1.7 million from NIL, if you're going to get the cover of a Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition, if you're going to get a free car here and a private jet there, then, like, you getting all this stuff, bad's going to come with it. In all of our lives sitting up at this desk, all of our lives, we've all gotten a lot of good, we all have a lot of bad. So to see the kind of trying to play the victim at the end, I was just like, it was weak. You can't do that.
We just got to keep the same energy. I mean, James is 40 today. I'm 37 years old.
33?
I'm in my 30s.
Yeah. I've been doing this in some capacity since 2007, almost 20 years. I did it before social media. I know everything that I say, how people are going to react to it. I can predict it almost to a dime. If I post something, if our show posts something, I know what the comments are going to be. I'm prepared for that. And that doesn't make it any easier. When I talk about some of my experiences to people, they can't believe the things I'm saying. They cannot believe the things that I experience. And I don't talk about them because I am unapologetic and brash and I stand on what I say and I get it. But this is a young person. If we want to take all the racial and gender components and all that out of it, this is a young person.
I got a question for you.
Is it weak or is she having a new experience? And I hear you. It's great to brag and then stand on it. But everyone didn't assign themselves the villain role. I assigned myself the villain role. I knew when I stepped into this space that people weren't going to like me. I take it as a badge of honor if I say something that people don't like, because that means I'm moving you. I'm supposed to talk for a living. I should say things that are compelling, and everyone shouldn't agree with you. All I'm saying is, if we want authenticity, we cannot then immediately persecute it. You can say that you don't like that she didn't take the L the way that you like. But what this would have taught her, this would have taught me as a young person, cool. You're going to get exactly what I give you. You're going to get the bare minimum from here on. Because if I'm honest about my experience, which, by the way, everyone is not having Angel Reese's experience. Angel Reese is different than Juju. Angel Reese is different than Caitlin Clark. Angel Reese has experienced different things in the public space than other people have. Do your research. Yeah. She has.
Correct.
But she has a different approach, too, though.
I got a question for you, though, Joy, because here's the other thing I don't like in general. Not just about this situation. I'm sure maybe you all have dealt with it. We've all been in our teens, and we want to talk to our parents like we grown. What you mean, Pops, I'm grown? What you mean, Mom, I'm grown? But then we start crying like a little kid, like a little boy, like a little girl. The issue, she is young, Joy, but if you want to act grown, like our parents used to say, I'm going to treat you like you grown. Yeah. Because when she was talking after they beat, I think it was UCLA, maybe the game before, talking to a coach, America, in the line post-game, hey, watch your mouth. The LSU coach had to hold back Angel Reese because Angel Reese was talking to a coach. You saw the comments online. People were like, yo, respect your elders, respect your elders. The comments said, well, Angel's grown. If you want to act grown, if you want to talk grown, you want to talk to grown folks like you grown. You want to get paid like you grown. You want to do everything like you grown. I can't now, Joy. It would be irresponsible of me to now be like, oh, but she's not grown, though. But she's young.
So it's irresponsible to apply reason that you have to a situation?
What's irresponsible, I think, is to try to prepare Angel Reese for a world that doesn't exist.
Why is it our responsibility to prepare her?
It's my responsibility to at least talk from a nuanced perspective.
Your responsibility is to give your honest opinion. My honest opinion is I'm a little disturbed by the reaction that I see to Angel Reese on every level about everything that she does. I love that she's unapologetic. I love that she's authentic. I love that she shows emotion. I love that she had this moment where she explained that even though she's in this villain space, even though she's dealing with all these things and she is talking loud and she is being unapologetic, and she knows that there's so many young girls that see themselves in her, that they don't see themselves in Juju, that they don't see themselves in Caitlin Clark. And y'all know what I'm saying.
Can I ask a question? I just want to ask you quick, because you defend it, and I get it, because you are right? You have the opportunity to defend yourself however you want, all right, and express herself. I get that. But my thing is, when she does these different antics and you know, comments and things she says, or she's playing the team, right, and she's taunting them or telling the coach, watch your mouth and this and that, you don't think that she thinks that there's going to be a reaction from this? Like, people's going to make a reaction? Because she's a big star now, though, right?
I don't think she's thinking of it that much.
She said on TV, she said, yo, ever since I won the championship game, I've been dealing with so much. So my thing is, when you do things, and I've been young, right, and I get it, we don't think as much, but if I'm a big guy in Pittsburgh, University of Pittsburgh, where I went to school at, and I was the main guy there, if I would do something, right, and this ain't even the social media era, it was going to surface eventually, like, oh, Shady did this, she did that.
One of the great players of all time and one of the great champions. And so here's Chiney Ogumbuke, herself one of the great players in recent college basketball memory. So how about that? There were so many people. Look, again, 12.3 million people watched the game the other night and you and Andrea and Elle sitting there, hosting the coverage and everything. And that means there were a lot of new people who are coming to the sport who don't know much about the history of it. So when they say, hey, Chiney, is Caitlin Clark the best player ever? What is the answer?
I will say respectfully, no. And that is not to discredit what Caitlin Clark has done so far. But as Rebecca mentioned, through my personal experience, as someone who has played against Diana Taurasi countless times, who has played against Candice Parker, who changed the culture by dunking in the tournament, Maya Moore, literally the hardest player in my career that I've ever had to guard and defend, and Brianna Stewart, who beat me in my Final Four game en route to 4 national championships. Respectfully, Caitlin Clark is not the greatest player of all time, but she does have an invite to the conversation if she wins a championship. But she is absolutely the greatest, most prolific scorer the college game has ever seen. She is an offensive juggernaut, the greatest three-point shooter the women's game has seen in college, and she is a beneficiary of the game that has been changed by the likes of Steph Curry, and she's applying that in a very similar way to the women's game. But right now, respectfully, no. And guess what? That's fine, because she is the most impactful player that we have seen in generations, and that might actually matter even more.
Yeah, the evidence of that was on display with, among other things, the television ratings and maybe the beginning of something that has been completely different from what we had seen in the past. So that said, do you think she gets it? There were a lot of skeptics about this Iowa team and whether they would even get through Colorado, and certainly whether they would get through LSU. Now they've got to play UConn, and then we would assume if they get there, unbeaten South Carolina. Do you expect Iowa to win this thing and put her in that discussion?
Do I expect Iowa to win this thing? Now, 2 rounds prior, I was very nervous. I said that they were in the danger zone because teams that rely on one-star players, she accounted for 71% of Iowa's points versus LSU. Those teams typically do not win, but this matchup versus UConn is spicy because of what Coach Gino Auriemma said. He said he believes that Paige, in some ways, is better than Caitlin. Now, that's the right thing for your coach to say, but why does Coach Gino think so? It's because Paige is scoring and rebounding and assisting, plus has a post game, which differs from Caitlin's, typical threes and layups, which she expertly crafts on a night-to-night basis. But still, if Caitlin were to beat a juggernaut in UConn perennially that we have seen the last 10 to 20 years, and then beat an undefeated South Carolina, that invite to the greatest of all conversation, that's delivered at her house. Not saying she is, but she has done tremendous things that have inspired winning.
I'm with you. That would be an unbelievable way to cap what will be one of the great careers in the history of the sport, no matter how you slice it. All right, Shanae.